I'm Matt.
I'm Shane.
And if you like what you hear, make sure you hit that thumbs up button real hard. And make sure you subscribe to Comic Movie Marks.
And also click that little bell for all of the notifications.
Whee!
Always remember,
if Trailer Trash can do it,
anyone can do it.
Hello and welcome everyone to another comic music video. God damn it. Welcome everybody to another Comic Movie Marks video.
That was supposed to be me rewinding, not barking, if that's how it came across.
Oh, it sounded like barking. I thought you were choking or barking.
That's what I thought. I was like, no, I'm supposed to be like, there we go. That's kind of better. Raggy. Fuck, I don't know. Anyways, today we got Stephen Colbert back at it with another Screen Rant article. This one is titled Batman v Superman's Martha. Blowback still perplexes crew. Still perplexes us as well. All right.
Yes, it does. I'm perplexed by the title.
Yeah, exactly. So Stephen starts off by saying Batman v Superman has its share of...
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Someone's jumping ahead. If you want to head to our Twitter...
Oh, yes. Nice.
We were just talking about this. God, I'm so glad we didn't do the other topic now. All right. So if you head to our Twitter, we have a poll right now of 4 movies that we will do another live commentary on. I have no idea if this video will be up by the time this poll ends.
Probably not.
Either way, it seems kind of runaway. But if you want to try to make a push for one of these other ones, or just really solidify the shit out of the one, we're go and hit our Twitter, or even on the other social media, just comment on the picture and let us know. But we have the 4 movies was Batman and Robin, Avengers Infinity War, Watchmen, and Suicide Squad. Was our 4 movies that we're planning to do another live commentary on, hopefully rather soon. We should... someone suggested in the comments once a month. I don't think it'll be that consistent, but I think we're going to try to do them periodically. It's definitely going to... It's month and a half, 2 months, somewhere around there. Get a good wide range. But Watchmen, with a very tiny lead of 64% of the vote. Wow. I that one surprised me. I really thought everybody was going to go for Batman and Robin. But apparently... people want to hear us do Watchmen. It has 64%. Batman and Robin was second place with 16. Avengers, Infinity War, 10%. And Suicide Squad, 10% as well. There might be time left by the time this hits. I don't know if it does, but it looks like Watchmen's going to win, unless we get a surge by somebody to try to get one of these other movies to catch up. But we'll probably have another poll up on our Twitter of which version would you want us to do, either the director's cut or the ultimate cut. I kind of assumed the director's cut because I think more people have the director's cut than the ultimate cut.
I think it's the more commonly known one as well.
Yeah, I even talked to a person that loves Watchmen, and I just told him today that, oh yeah, the ultimate cut. And he's like, what the hell is the ultimate cut? He didn't even know. He didn't even know there was an ultimate cut. He just knew the director's cut, and he loves the director's cut. And so
that's funny.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, the ultimate cut is over 3 hours long. The director's cut is 3 hours long. So I don't know if you guys want to hear us bullshit for another 3 hours. Apparently you do, but you know, just gotta keep that in mind.
Yeah, Shane's ass was killing him.
Yeah. Oh, that chair was brutal. I'm gonna have to bring over my own chair.
Oh, geez. I'll bring in my chair from the living room, the big old recliner and shit.
There you go.
Like
that would
like
be
a
awesome.
Lazy boy.
Oh, that would go perfect for my idea. I thought it'd be really cool to, you know how like, I don't know, Collider and some of these shows have the desk that they sit at. Ours should be like a wooden box or something that we have the mic sitting on. And then if we had recliners, it'd be fucking perfect. Wow. Almost like the Man Show, kind of.
And beer koozies and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Or helmet, beer hats and shit. Helmet.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. Yeah. Party on. Party on, Marv.
Party on, Martha.
Speaking of Martha. we're going to jump into this now, this article, which is kind of something that probably most people listening to this already understands. But in case there happens to be some people that didn't understand the Martha scene or just are somehow stuck with the idea like, oh, they have the same name, which seems to be a lot of people. I'm really surprised a lot of the times when I hear people say that. Like, I'm not sure if they're joking or if they really truly believe that was the reason why. Like, there's another film reviewer and also news guy that doesn't do a lot of comic book movies, and that's kind of the reason why I listen to him. But he brought up Batman vs. Superman, and he said the Marthas. It's because they have the same name. That's why they stopped fighting and became best friends. Man, I liked your channel until just now. Like, why? Why? Come on, man. And he's even talking about how you got to understand these movies. And then he says that. I'm like, what?
Wow.
So it was kind of funny.
It's just become an easy target at this point. As soon as it's
low-hanging fruit, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. As soon as it started getting attacked at one point, I mean, Deadpool did it. It's easy. It's an easy target now. And I don't consider us very intelligent. If you listen to this show, if you listen to the beginning of this fucking episode, that'll tell you. And
or
somehow,
the last one where Shane was bragging about his cappuccino blast.
Yeah. I think my brain was just wired that time. I'm like, oh yeah, cappuccino blast, blah, blah, blah. I love how someone in the comments, forgive me, I can't remember who it was, but they said the Comic Movie Marks sponsored by Baskin Robbins and the Cappuccino Blast or something like that. I was like, we only wish.
I know. Give us a sponsor.
I still, it blows me away that we're able to understand the whole like PTSD and a lot that went into the Martha scene, but yet people just look at the surface. Oh, they have the same names. That's why that's why they're friends now all of a sudden. Okay, whatever.
I'm not trying to be mean. I honestly don't mean to be mean, but this kind of reminds me of the flat Earth thing. It's like there's like a couple trolls out there that are saying the Earth is flat, and they use a couple things, and then it just spread like wildfire. And that feels like the same thing with Martha. Like a couple people, maybe somebody did a skit or something. Oh, I have the same name, Martha. And then like people are like, yeah, you know, that's right. You know, they have the same name, Martha Kent and Martha Wayne. Oh my God, I can't believe they did that. It's I could just see it with the way the internet reacts to shit and stuff. I could just see it being taken and just never understood from that point on.
Your hick accent was perfect there, by the way.
Oh, it's natural. This is fake. This is a fake voice.
I never understood that. Martha, Martha, Martha.
Some folk will never eat a skunk, but then again, some folk will, like Cletus the slack-jawed yokel. Hey, what's going on this side?
So we got this article, and that's kind of cool what Screen Rant did here. They, they talked to the cast and crew here from Batman vs. Superman. I thought that was pretty cool. The small things. The small things. Again, the movie continues to be talked about.
Yep.
I don't I don't get why people fight this stuff. Like, why can't they just admit that even if it's good or bad, the movie is being talked about? Same thing with Man of Steel. It's still being talked about. It's solidified its foothold in the cinematic world, especially in the comic book world. As much as I don't want to get older and balder, I can't wait for 10 years down the road when eventually this movie will, I think, have its breaking point and become the cult classic it should be. And it will solidify even more how wrong critics and bloggers were at the time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So we should probably thanks a lot. Thank you for confirming that. So we should get to the article, but
yes.
Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice has its share of wow. I was about to say wholly debated at first.
Either way, holy.
Has its share of hotly debated moments, but nothing tops the Martha moment. And even the film's crew doesn't understand the hate. While fans of the moment see it as a powerful scene that shakes the fallen Batman out of his rage, enabling him to see Superman's humanity for the first time, others have turned the moment into a meme, comparing it to the moment in the movie Step Brothers when Dale and Brennan become best friends because after discovering their common interests. You know what? Another reason to hate that movie Step Brothers now. I did not realize that was kind of what that was from.
Oh, really? Yeah,
No.
I'm not a fan of that movie, but I've seen that movie, or I'm sorry, I've seen that meme several times. I was just able to correlate the two, I guess, and then, you know, you start seeing more and more of the Batman v Superman memes, and with the same, did we just become best friends, or whatever the bullshit is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right. All right.
That's the stupid line. So
I think you and I might be the only ones that don't like Step Brothers. So.
Or Will Ferrell.
Yeah, that could be it. My reaction to Step Brothers is probably none like anybody else's. I can't stand the movie because there's 40-year-old men living with their parents. It drives me fucking nuts.
Yes.
Just the overall concept of the movie just blows me away, and it loses me from there. I just can't stand it. So that's my problem.
To me, top 2 Will Ferrell movies: Elf, obviously a classic, and Megamind. If you have not seen Megamind, you are fucking missing out. That movie is fantastic.
Do you count Old School?
Old School's pretty good. That one's pretty good. Yeah,
but I'm not sure how much of a Will Ferrell movie that really is.
Yeah, I'll give him that one.
Blue, you're my boy!
So top 3, boom, there it is. That's
there we go.
We can break that out and make it its own movie, or its own movie. Yeah, probably, but we can make it its own YouTube video. Thank God this is our topic for this evening, because this is a brutal fucking episode. Moving along, recently cinematographer Larry Fong said he doesn't get critics in reaction to some of the scathing reviews directed at Batman v Superman and other Zack Snyder movies get, and now Damon Caro, Batman v Superman stunt coordinator and second unit director, voices a similar sentiment. Caro says there was zero conversation about, oh, people are going to have an issue with this or not understand it or think it's silly. It was, and it's so funny, Zach and I had a conversation about that. I don't know, a month ago probably, that came up, and I just said I have never understood, and I don't listen to a lot of the haters, but I've heard the chatter of it a little bit, but I don't understand what the disconnect was. What the problem is with how salient that line is, and the connection between having the same mother's name allows you to connect with someone you wanted to obliterate from the planet because you saw him as a threat to the human race. You saw him as a threat to humanity. You realized he was an orphan and his mother's. You saw him as you saw you as a kid, and you saw him in that light. So that enlightened you. That made you drop and see him now, not as the enemy, but as an ally. A fellow being who is trying to do the right thing to reach justice. So no, crystal clear, and very, like I said, it's always made sense to me. So I'm perplexed by that one, and I don't know that I don't have the answer to that one. It's kind of hard to read someone else's quote verbatim and have the same like connotation and inflection in your voice, but there it is.
Well, he has like they have a trail off here or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like there was more to it. Like he trailed off a couple times because when it says orphan and his mother's,
yeah,
period. Oh well, yeah, keep going. No, you saw him as
yeah, exactly. I was like, okay.
So, yeah, again, we talked about this in our live commentary of it. You know, Batman reacts to the idea, seeing him as the guy with the gun that killed his mother and his father. It shows that he's the enemy. And that was the point, by the way. I really feel like we didn't bring this up in the live commentary, but I just kind of, as I filter through some of the stuff and the negative feedback on Batman vs. Superman, I think people actually lose the track of the fact that Batman is a villain in the beginning of the movie, for the most part. He was so deterred from his old ways. He was so messed up that he was a villain. He was a criminal. And that's what Alfred's trying to explain to him. You have crossed the line. You are basically a criminal now. And I think it's kind of lost on some people that they don't seem to catch the fact that Batman actually is a villain in this movie throughout the like 3/4 of it.
You're letting him kill Martha. Why did you say that name?
It's his mother's name. It's his mother's name.
You know he knew you. Your pal, your buddy, your Bucky. What did you say?
Almost said Bucky, and all of a sudden I was a 16-year-old kid again in Brooklyn.
You know he knew you. Your pal, your buddy, your Bucky. Why did you say that name?
Cool.
In the article, he continues, Snyder has discussed criticisms of him in the past and said he doesn't change his point of view based on critics, but he does evaluate whether or not the idea was communicated effectively. In the case of Martha moment, that means he wouldn't second guess the scene as a concept or even as the core of the movie, as it's something that resonates strong with him, but he may have evaluated whether or not he communicated the concept clearly. And unfortunately, that's kind of a sad but pretty telling paragraph there in this article, that Snyder doesn't stray away from his initial concept and what he was trying to communicate there, but because it wasn't taken with the most sincerity, I guess, that he is kind of second guessing, well, maybe I didn't communicate that clearly enough, which to me, it's like, why? He's talked about, he makes these movies for him and what he would want to see. And it's just sad that because people, they correlate, oh, same name, then he's like, well, I probably didn't do a good job at communicating it. No, you did a fine job.
For him, by him. Foo him.
Exactly.
Foo him. It's not quite the FUBU. I don't know. I got it. I remember when it happened, when I saw it in theaters. Never second guessed it. I was like, oh, PTSD, alternate reaction. All right, mental conflict. He sees himself as the criminal. He realizes his wrongdoings. All right. Never even crossed my mind.
Yeah.
And then when I had other issues with the fucking movie, way beyond Martha. So it's just kind of, it's kind of surprising. It was surprising, and sadly people took it and just took it the wrong way. And of course, that's the only thing they can do. And I think it's hard to even say that people can get their mind changed anymore. I feel like you rarely see it anymore. It's after, like, I don't know, 2012 or 2011, 2010, whatever. I don't know. I haven't been on social media, so I don't know how bad it got, but it just feels like it's hard. It'd be really hard to change anybody's mind from this. Even if Zack Snyder did a hour-long video explaining every detail, every fabric, what this point is, and he breaks it down, you know, frame by frame by frame, every emotion happening here, I still feel like a majority of individuals would still be like, it's because they have the same name, best friends, high five. Okay.
Yeah, probably. I think that's a very important thing. It'll be interesting to kind of see how that plays out. Like you said, in 10 years from now, if this does start to become the cult classic, I hope people revisit Dawn of Justice and really take it, you know, approach it with an open mind. Matt and I try in a lot of scenarios, despite what we think a movie might be going into it, we try to go in like, okay, let me just give this movie a shot, no matter what it is. And, you know, sometimes we're like, okay. I think Ant-Man 2, probably most recently, where we were a little bit more like, oh, okay, that was a little bit better than what we were thinking. Low standards, I guess. But hopefully people, not comparing the Batman v Superman to Ant-Man 2 by any means, but hopefully people eventually revisit it with a clear mind. Nick, sorry, excuse me, and not being influenced by others, by outside people, or by what memes they've seen on the internet.
Unless we're those outside people.
Exactly.
One of these days, we might have to force Nick down, you know, Clockwork Orange him, open his eyes, open his eyes to the truth, man. Yeah, you know, this may happen with me with Predator, because right now I'm fucking despising that movie. Every little ounce I see in the trailers, but I'm going to see it, and we're going to do a review on it. Yep. And I'm hoping it will be okay. I heard a comment on a review today, and I was just like, no. You know, basically it was a comment. Now they've turned it into like a slapstick comedy action movie.
Shit.
And I I don't have PTSD, but I felt like I did. Like, I just felt like twitches and shit, and like Iron Man 3. And
if that's the case, then Marvel and Disney have ruined every genre, in my opinion. We'll see.
Wow, bold statement.
Oh man, open mind, ladies and gentlemen, open mind.
We will, and we'll have our review up whenever the fuck we feel like it. In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. You're one of very few to make it to the end.
Yes, thank you very much.
Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Comic Movie Marks Podcast and hit the notification bell. You know, all these fucking YouTube channels say this shit, so I'm going to say it now.
Yes, it's perfect. And if you want to hear our full podcast, you can check out our podcast on iTunes or any other podcast subscription service.
Make sure you subscribe. Thanks again.